And welcome to another edition of the 17th Annual Harlem International Film Festival. My name is Marcos Luis, and I am here to talk to the cast of Person, Woman, Man, Camera, TV. And I'm not sure if that's how they meant it to be read, but that's what it is. It's an incredible film, and I want to introduce you to the cast right now. So, the director and co-producer is Niav Conty. We have Jay Ward and Estelle Bajou as the actors, co-producers, and co-writers on the project. And we have Jannone, hope I said that correctly, as a composer and production of sound. Welcome, you guys. Welcome to the International Film Festival, Harlem.
Hello.
Yeah.
Guys, incredible film. I have questions. First of all, Niav, what do you want us to know about the film?
What?
I don't know how to answer that question. I want you to watch the film and take what you will from it and kind of receive it as lives, not so much as a message. You know, there's a lot of messages in this film, but it's not actually, for me, a message film. It's more a textural, human film about interaction, about people, about all of these contradictory elements within us and how we can kind of exist together or not.
Beautiful. Exactly right.
Repeat them out of order. It's okay, but you know,
He passed his
it's not as good. But then when you go back about 20, 25 minutes later and they say, go back to that question and repeat them. Can you do it? And you
Would
go,
you shut it off?
person,
you know what?
woman,
He did it again.
man,
I think he deserves a
camera, TV. They say,
to acknowledge
that's
his
amazing.
accomplishments.
How did you do that? I do it because I have like a good memory, because I'm cognitively there.
You're delusional. You're not even living in reality.
I'm delusional.
This is not Wakanda.
Wow. Wow. Really? We haven't socialized in like 6 months. And now, I'm the one who gets up every morning and goes to work.
If you could erase one thing from your memory, what would it be?
Just like, gone?
Yeah, gone. Poof. That looks so comfortable.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
I could beat your fucking face in.
Be careful, Karen.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I could kill you right now. I swear. I could kill you right now. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
I am.
I am who?
Don't you even know who you are? I'm just saying. If you water a plant, the plant grows.
The fear goes into the meat, and then we eat it.
The fear goes into the meat?
And we eat it. I thought you said you wanted your freedom.
Freedom from you!
Look, you can't have it both ways. You want your freedom, then you take it.
Do me a favor.
What's that?
If I ever become my mom, kill me.
I promise.
We used to laugh.
We still can.
Can we?
I'm going to throw this to the two actors in the film. What would you guys like us to know about the film?
Yeah, you want to take it or you want me to start?
No, you can go on. That's
Okay.
great.
I mean, I kind of agree with Niav. I think stories are really powerful in and of themselves, and kind of reducing a story to like one message, I think, you know, limits our ability to relate to the people and to like understand the nuances of social interactions and relationships. And for me, it's a story about a relationship that's being affected by, you know, their inner lives, their inner psychologies, and their own personal histories, but also by, you know, a socio-historical event that everybody in the world has been going through, and you know, the contexts that the intersecting contexts and identities that are explored for these characters. I think what's great is that it doesn't they never overshadow the personal, the you know, the way that these two people are in relationship to each other is never overshadowed by the social context. So yeah.
Very good. Yeah, I agree. Jay, what do you say?
You know, the film, it's, you know, a relationship. It's, you know, the relationship between myself and Estelle as the actress, and, you know, what it takes, I guess, for, you know, a Black man and a white woman getting together in all these kind of like she was saying, situations that are going on at the time. When we met in the film 7 years prior, it was like, I guess, Obama's presidency, Ebola was going on, and then the other part of the film is the last day when we break up after 7 years of marriage. And we don't obviously fill in what happened in between the 7 years, but there are some indications as to what's going on without, you know, giving it up. And, you know, in that 7th year when, you know, all the things were going down with, you know, George Floyd, COVID, all of these issues, just bringing to light, we didn't hit it over the head with a political message, but we were trying to just kind of slightly indicate that there were some things going on, and we're leaving it to the people, the audience, to kind of fill in those gaps, which is great because everyone's situation is different. The story could be, we could have developed 7 years and broken up for a lot of different reasons, but people will choose and feel their own reasons inside of that. And I love the way Niav kind of subtly laced all that together. Yeah, I guess that's what I would say.
I love that. Yeah. John, what was it for you? What do you think it is for you? You can hear me.
Yeah, I feel the same as the rest of the team, you know, and part of the reason for that is, you know, this was a very intense production experience. We were living together in quarantine for a month, shooting together, all in the same house, every meal together. And so in addition to working a lot together, we talked a lot together about these ideas and really got to know each other as well. You know, the film is certainly a metaphor for what happened to the country over those 7 years, but as Jay said, it's not a capital M metaphor. It's all of these subtle references that were woven into the script to sort of, you know, let everyone know that this couple wasn't having this struggle in a vacuum. They were having it in this America right now. And they met in that America 7 years ago. And those things are significant, but yeah, is there a specific takeaway? Is there a specific point? The point is a relationship. And love is hard, I think. And a lot of other points as well.
I would have to agree with you 100%. I mean, I think it's exactly what all of you said. It's a culmination of that. It's relatable to everyone in so many different ways and beautifully done. And I have to say, I'm a little partial because I know your style of shooting, and it was impeccable. The juxtaposition in the exact moments that it needed to be side by side. Oops, I don't want to give away too much, but you know what I mean? To bring out the moment was beautifully done, like beautifully done. How did this whole thing come about? How did the story come about? I know you said you were quarantined together during the shooting, but how did the project come about? Who wrote it? And how did you guys?
It was actually a short film that was kind of developed through improv with two other actors like 10 years ago. And that was the separation. Like, there's nothing to give away. I think it's all there. It's what is given away is that, you know, what one discovers is the nuances within there. Right. It's not really a surprise story thing. We know that it's a couple going back and forth between getting to know each other and falling in love and breaking up 7 years later. So that breakup was a script that I had developed with these two other actors. I liked the script, but I didn't really know what to do with it. And it was too long for a short. And so when COVID hit and suddenly there was this like downtime for everyone, I really wanted to get creative and like make something with that time. And so I knew Estelle from before. I contacted her. I know that she's into experimentation and improv and all of that kind of stuff. And I realized that it could become a feature if we could create this their meeting 7 years earlier, and it would work as a feature with those two time periods intercut. And so then Estelle brought on Jay. We knew that I wanted to for sure make it more pertinent with everything that was going on at that time. So I wanted a Black actor and it to be an interracial couple and them be dealing with all of this strife that was going on at that time. So then Jay came on board and we developed the meeting script, the early part over Zoom through improv also, and wrote the script from these improvisations. And we also adapted the separation script to, you know, their situation and these new different people who are playing these roles and the world at this moment, because that has a lot to do with it too. And then we shot it. With we were a 5-person total crew. So yeah, it was us.
This is really blowing my mind. You know that.
Us four, John's son came on as a PA for part of it.
How important was it? Well, first of all, I always say that the pandemic was it was kind of bittersweet, good and bad. It was a beautiful time for artists, beautiful time for creatives, because we had time to make things happen. And shame on you if you didn't make something happen, because you had all the time in the world to create. How important was it for you guys to be in an environment that was controlled, where you guys could just be actors and be creative and make this project come to life?
I think it was really important. I mean, you know, as Niav said, I came in at the end, but just, you know, at the end when they decided that they wanted an African-American writer. But, you know, as we were living together, working together for 4 months, or not 4 months, but however long the shoots were, a month each, we really got to know each other. And we, because of all the situations that were going on, you know, there were a lot of issues that we all had to kind of deal with and grapple with as, you know, me as an African American, them as white Americans, and just dealing with that. And this was during the time of, you know, George Floyd and all the stuff that was going on during that COVID period. Just absolutely crazy, insane stuff. So, but a lot of the issues that we maybe have had, or maybe I myself at least had, you know, was in this space, and we just kind of had to address it and deal with whatever kind of popped up, because we, you know, it was all an improv script. It was all just, we made it as it was, but we also had to deal with our own inner feelings or what have you. At least from my perspective, you know, from an African American perspective. So yeah, so it was quite interesting. Not sure if I answered the point, but that's what I'll leave with.
Absolutely, yeah. And I, you know, as a viewer watching the film, I felt all of that energy being channeled to make this film. You know, once I knew, you know, the time period it was made, I could see everything, you know, pulled together to bring that energy onto the camera, and we felt it. We felt all that. I felt the time period. You know, I felt the relationship. You know, I'm not gonna go into too much detail, but you feel all of that. Beautifully shot. Music was synchronized perfectly. It took me to, I was like on a roller coaster in every scene, you know, photographic stills from each segment, and the music came right in and made me feel another dimension, you know, for the film. Well done. Very, very well done. Why, in a sentence maybe, why should people see this film? I mean, we've kind of talked about it a little bit, but just what do you think is the driving point for people to see this film? Why should we, you know, like take it one step further? You know, whatever we were feeling at that time, is there some sort of reason why today we should see that film? Anybody can say.
Well, I mean, I'll give it a whack. I'm not sure, you know, how good the answer will be, but I think, you know, it was both really, like Jay said, really intense, and it felt like purposeful and important to be grappling as artists and personally with, you know, COVID and George Floyd's murder, and you know, the social issues of the day. And I think it's clear that none of those issues are anywhere close to being resolved, you know, and I think as a culture, but also maybe globally, you know, for so many reasons, it's really hard to maintain a commitment to grappling, to continuing to grapple with how we want to relate to each other, how we want to be in society together, how we want to, you know, address historical wrongs and acknowledge how they're affecting our lives in the present. And so I think, you know, it helps. I think stories are an in, you know, it's really easy to write off or to disconnect emotionally from a news story at times, because we're constantly, you know, like experiencing a barrage of headlines, and there seem to be so many problems in the world that it can be hard to stay connected. So I think finding ways to connect to individuals and seeing how individuals have complicated, unique experiences of these bigger issues, and just connecting to two people, I think, is a way of continuing to grapple with the stuff we need to grapple with in a kind of in a deeper way. than just sort of traditional political engagement, I think. I don't know if that's a good.
Absolutely.
I'd also add, from this experience, at least from my experience, I don't know if it's seen in the film, but there's differences between African Americans and white Americans, and I don't know if it's really overtly seen in the film, but I think through our experiences, we found that, wow, there are differences. There are different views and different nuances or shades of one's personality, that is linked into one's race. And it's okay that that's the way it is, but, it's something that we all need to kind of address and grapple with, because that ultimately is what's, keeping everyone separate and keeping everyone in this, state of anger or hate or whatever. Not to mention the dude in Buffalo who, shot people. It's just the same continuation of stuff. But if we don't really recognize who we are and realize that we're all human beings, we all have our, whether we're white or black, whatever, and, we just have human instincts that we all have to grapple with, and not to make it a racial thing, I guess. And I don't know, that's about it.
No, I think you bring up a good point. I think you're absolutely right. It's not just, a racial thing, but I think it's, it can be cultural. It's global. It's, putting two people together or putting people together in a situation where they're different, but you're learning about each other. You're exchanging information. I don't necessarily have to agree with what you say, but I'm learning about you. You're learning about me. You're learning my point of view, and I'm learning your point of view. And what I do with that afterwards, hopefully, is something good. Hopefully, I can spread that same knowledge to other people, to the world, like take it all out there to the globe, but it's the change, the discourse between two people or three people or four people. It's almost like the situation you guys were in. If you were put together for a month in this place to make this film, you're learning about each other in that 1 month. We know each other, but we don't know each other until we're put in a position where we're forced, to be together. And what do we do after that? How do we carry that on? That's what the significance is. And I think you guys beautifully did it. Yeah.
Also, the way we were working is part of that. Like, there's filming and giving voice to all people, but we went farther, and that's why I really loved doing this way of developing the script through improv. It wasn't an improv film at all, but it was the script was developed through improv, and thus both Estelle and James, or I'm reading your name there. I'm calling you James, and Jay. Just brought their personal, selves to these characters, and thus the interracial aspect of it was not made in a presented way. It was just made in a totally organic way, I think, and was absolutely fascinating to see where it went. And also all of us talking, when we had all these night shoots at 5 a.m., when we wrapped, and kind of seeing who we are even more, and the relationships and all the nuances that go into all of those things. But the way that it was developed really wanted to not be a message about that subject. It wanted to give voice to everyone within that, to be as subtle or as obvious about what they're talking about as they felt in the moment. So I hope that comes through.
Absolutely did.
Everyone's being put in there.
Right. And I do want to say too that, the acting was superb. I was fully invested in the characters. And like I said, the music came in and synchronized with the cinematography right at the right moment. And it just really well done. Well done, guys. How did, let me ask you, Niav, how did you have any challenges with the cinematography? You know, sometimes we set out to do some things and they don't exactly work out.
I mean, let me just say, Niav was absolute master. One woman team. I mean, John helped with, the gaffing and all that other stuff, but Niav, just unbelievable. You should have seen her. Working it all out. Everything. Light, sound, not sound, but just everything. I'm sorry, but I just want to give her big kudos because she really did a great job. Go on, Yvonne. Sorry.
Thank you. Obviously, there are challenges when you're kind of in a feature which has some scope, and doing it as a single camera crew. But also the way it was developed, everyone was kind of doing everything as well. Like there's a lot of art design, production design in this, like a massive amount, right? And that was all developed through, most of that belongs to John because we shot in his house and has elements of his personality and his dad's personality because it was his dad's house before he received it. And then, everyone was art directing this all together. Like these are actors who are, moving all the furniture, running around, putting on their makeup, and then we're shooting it, and John is helping light it and get that thing rigged, and then he's making food so we can eat, and then he's getting the sound right, and so we're all sort of doing everything and all elements are kind of, everyone is on board. And that was really fun. It was a lovely, and I couldn't have done that, shot it and done all of these things without that kind of participation and willingness to just be involved on a much larger scale than, actors are usually involved.
See, this is why independent films are so incredible, because usually the people that are working on these films love the project. You're doing it for the passion, for the love. So you will do what you have to do to make it work. And that's what this feels like. It feels like a project of love, a labor of love. Now, I'm not even sure if there was much labor, figuratively. Literally there was, but labor of love, you know what I'm saying? So I feel that when I see the film. John, any challenges with the music? Where do you get the music score from? Is it all original?
Yeah, there's a lot of my music. There's also a lot of great music. This is a ton of music in this film. There's a lot of great music by other artists. Music is really run through the entire length of the film. And I had a lot of fun in the film working with styles that I don't ordinarily work with. Trying to incorporate more of a jazz and more of an African influence in the music, and that I think that's the challenge, because you're always walking the line of wanting to represent something about the internal states of the characters, wanting to create a counterpoint with the story, while not stepping too far into cliche or even cultural appropriation. Like I'm not a jazz musician. I love jazz music. And I'm certainly not an expert in African music. How do you intelligently, responsibly, carefully weave those influences in? Because music would be strong without them, but they can't just be added like a spice. It has to be something that's a deeper process and a more considered process. And that was a great challenge for me and a lot of fun. And then also I think the other thing is, you know, how does my music juxtapose with the other artists? There's songs by 3 of Dan Bruckner's bands in there, songs from Arcdivers, which is Emily Zeitlin's band, and like it's my music being next to these great artists whose work I really admire, and that's an interesting balance to strike too. You know, how to make that sort of mix work. And I think Niav, in addition to all of her other incredible skills, is a great music supervisor. And you know, we collaborate very closely on that, and she helped me navigate it a lot.
I love that. One last question. How can we support this film or the production company outside of the Harlem Film Festival? Like, make this film project go further? You want to give a social media or website that we can help keep this thing going? Put it out there for you.
Well, we're on Facebook and Instagram at Person, Woman, Man, Camera, TV, the movie, and that's a mouthful, but it'll all be posted on the site, and we've been you know, actively, anytime the film is available to be seen, we're posting that everywhere. And the Harlem Film Festival has extended its virtual festival, which is terrific. So the film is still going to be available for a while on that site, and then hopefully on more festivals soon as it continues its festival run.
I'm sure it will. Any last words from you guys? Anything else you'd like to know?
Just thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us and try and get this film out there and invite people to watch it. You know, that's the reason we made it, is to have people discover it, and I hope many do.
Absolutely. And I'm going to say, please, everyone, make sure you see this film, Person, Woman, Man, Camera, TV. This is the team, the cast, the crew, made with love. It will be available on the Harlem International Film Fest.org website. We do the streaming through eventive.org until May 22nd. Make sure you stream this film. If not, buy a complimentary pass for someone else and send it to them. You can do that also. I want to thank you guys for all joining us for the Harlem International Film Festival 17th year edition. My name is Marcos Luis. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.